When Sakura arrives, she is once again greeted by a locker filled with love letters from her loser classmates. Andrew Tate would surely mind the behavior of these simps. But today, there's a new twist. Sakura tells Aba that she has chosen to walk to school with Ogami every day. This news brings an interesting change to Sakura's daily routine and sparks the curiosity of her classmates. Aba is genuinely happy for Sakura, thinking she might have finally found love. Aba offers her best wishes, encouraging Sakura to treasure her new closeness with Ogami, and asking Ogami to take good care of her. The d***s are still unaware that Sakura said this because she wants to keep an eye on Ogami at all times. Suddenly, a fellow student tries to attack Ogami from behind in jealousy for stealing Sakura. Without hesitation, Sakura steps in front of Ogami, signaling that anyone who wants to harm him will have to go through her first. The only reason Sakura does this is because she's certain that the kid would get fried if he annoys Ogami even a bit more. As they walk together, they run into Fujiwara, one of Sakura's junior students, who seems very excited to see her. Ogami, however, notices something in Fujiwara's eyes, and almost instinctively places his hand on her head, hinting at a deeper connection or shared history that hasn't yet been revealed. Later, Ogami waits on the school rooftop and gets a call instructing him to eliminate certain people. After ending the call, he sees Sakura approaching. In a surprising and gentle gesture, Ogami offers her a puppy. It is revealed that the pup is of the same dog that he had to put down while facing G Falcon. Sakura happily decides to take it under her care. After that, Sakura decides to follow Ogami to the location where he needs to find his targets. But as they near the scene, Sakura feels a rising sense of unease. She notices police officers present, mingling with the very people they are supposed to catch. Shocked and dismayed, Sakura watches as the police unexpectedly collaborate with the criminals they were meant to eliminate. Without hesitation, Ogami swiftly takes action, burning all the criminals and leaving no one alive. Witnessing this ruthless act, Sakura confronts Ogami, expressing her shock and disagreement with his methods. She insists that he cannot just kill people at will, and that there must be a more humane way to handle the situation. In response, Ogami defends his actions, telling Sakura that her words can't reach or change these people, and that sometimes the only way to deal with them is by using his tough methods. The differences in morals and ethics between Sakura and Ogami are very clear at this point. Sakura tries to understand Ogami, hugging him and saying she gets why he fights. But Ogami, firm in his beliefs, pushes her away and strikes her in the stomach, making her faint. Ogami then chases after the corrupt police officer who was helping the people he took down earlier. They get into a car chase, and Ogami tries to use his powers to burn the officer's car. However, the situation takes an unexpected turn when a helicopter suddenly appears, and another codebreaker, Toki, steps out. Toki makes the officer's car explode, while Ogami narrowly escapes by jumping out of the vehicle. After that, Toki greets Ogami and it looks like they both know each other well. In the highest decision-making group, known as Eden, people with powers beyond normal human abilities are given the responsibility to use their unique skills to eliminate the evil forces threatening Earth. Among them is Ogami, a notable codebreaker identified as Code 6. Even though he is the newest member of this cheeky group, Ogami has proven his worth by successfully completing every mission given to him. He has shown not only his skill but also significant growth, earning his place as an equal among the top 5 code. Now, in a moment filled with anticipation and mystery, one of the respected judges steps forward to reveal why Ogami has been called. It becomes clear that they have a special mission in mind for him, one that requires all of his extraordinary abilities. The target of this secret mission is Tabata Shidru, a well-known politician. His image instantly appears on Ogami's phone, highlighting the seriousness of the task. However, what catches Ogami's attention is the mysterious link between this politician and someone named Hitomi. With a serious tone, the judges explain that Ogami's job is much more than just getting rid of a political rival. It involves navigating the complicated web of relationships and alliances in the secretive world. Figuring out any possible link between Tabata Shidru and Hitomi is a key part of this complex task. In a bold move, Ogami decides to tap into his psycho side again. He flies towards the judges, unleashing a powerful blaze of fire that surrounds them. This act, which made the judges shit their pants, is a strong message that he will not be treated as just a tool. He demands the right to choose whether he will accept the mission or not. Meanwhile, Sakura finds herself entangled in her own complicated situation. She is often seen hanging around the front gate, which worries her parents. When they ask her about it, she first says that she needs to sleep outside as part of her new mountaineering club training. but she soon realizes her parents know when she is especially when it's about someone else. As she gets ready to leave the house, Sakura is surprised to see Toki, a young man with shiny golden hair standing where Ogami usually waits for her. He greets her with a warm but creepy good morning. Still puzzled, she asks who he is, curious about this unexpected meeting. He then tells her he's there to pick her up instead of Ogami. During their journey, he shares some troubling news with Sakura. He explains that Ogami made some big mistakes the day before, which is why he couldn't come. Toki, who introduces himself as Code 4, mentions that Ogami, who is Code 6, needs to be watched closely. Sakura's curiosity about Ogami's location gets the best of her, so she asks Toki where he might be right now. Toki replies, saying Ogami probably just got a harsh scolding from his superiors and might be about to cry. As soon as Sakura hears this, her eyes fill with tears and she starts crying for Ogami. Toki then tries to comfort Sakura, promising to give her all the information she needs about him. Sakura makes it clear that what she really wants from Ogami is for him to stop his job of taking people out. While still with Sakura, Toki says he has something important to share that involves both Ogami and her. But before he can say more, Ogami suddenly appears and kicks Toki. Quick and agile, Toki dodges the kick easily. Ogami stands in front of Sakura, telling her not to listen to what he thinks are Toki's empty words. He then turns to Toki, asking why he has shown up unexpectedly. Toki tells Ogami that the higher-ups have concerns about the job assigned to him for tonight. Because of this, Toki has been sent to help him. However, Toki's main purpose is to deliver a clear message that Ogami should not take part in the mission today. Ogami responds by telling Toki to focus on his own health rather than worrying about him. The situation heats up, and Toki's frustration comes out. The two psychopaths end up in a fierce brawl. Sakura steps in and tries to stop them. As she stands in between, she notices that Toki's eyes look a lot like Fujiwara's, which sparks her doubts about their possible connection. After Toki leaves, Sakura and Ogami continue on their way to school. Sakura's curiosity takes over, and she starts asking Ogami about Toki. Ogami warns her that Toki isn't trustworthy, and advises her not to believe everything he says. In class, while the teacher is teaching, Sakura's gaze drifts to the window, where she sees Toki. She quickly tells the teacher she feels sick, and asks to go to the nurse. Instead of going to the nurse's office, she decides to question Toki about why he is at her school. Toki says he is just there to explore the school, but before they can discuss more, Ogami steps in, accusing Toki of snooping around. Their chat gets interrupted when a teacher sees Toki in a different school uniform and asks about his presence. Toki explains that he is a new student on a school tour, and the teacher takes him to the classroom to introduce him to everyone, including Sakura and Ogami. At lunchtime, Sakura uses the chance to ask Toki how she can stop Ogami from carrying out his dangerous tasks. Toki explains that code breakers have clear goals, and either deal with or eliminate threats based on orders from their superiors. Later, after school, Sakura quietly follows Ogami to ask about the link between Fujiwara and Toki. Ogami answers in a vague way, saying that code breakers basically don't exist, and if Toki had a family before, their memories of the code breaker would be wiped out. As night comes, they arrive at their planned spot for the operation. Toki uses his magnetic powers to open a door and turn off the alarm system. Sakura is amazed by Toki's special ability. However, their mission takes an unexpected twist when a group of people with special powers, different from code breakers, shows up and starts a fight with Toki and Ogami. In the middle of the intense battle, the opponent's energy packs, which are essential for powering their special abilities, run out in just a few minutes. Facing this problem, they quickly retreat, blaming the failure on a experiment. Toki explains that the government has been running a series of experiments aimed at creating people with superhuman abilities similar to the code breakers. The person in charge of these experiments, Mr. Tabata, a high-ranking government official, happens to be their enemy today. Even though Mr. Tabata's assistant alerts him that the code breakers are in the building, he stays firm, refusing to let them interfere with his ongoing experiment. As Ogami, Toki, and Sakura head toward their target, Toki reveals something shocking to Sakura. He tells her that their work is also connected to the government, specifically to the Prime Minister. Sakura is stunned by this news, as the idea of the Prime Minister being involved in their situation amazes her. When Sakura finally unlocks the door to the experiment room, she is stunned by a heartbreaking scene. The room is crowded with many children who seem to have been taken off the streets, their lives disrupted as they become subjects for these cruel experiments. As she moves further into the room, the person behind these actions, Tabata, makes his appearance. Toki immediately speaks to him, reminding Tabata of Eden's previous warnings about trafficking human organs. Yet, Tabata remains unfazed and brushes off their concerns, saying it's not their problem. Adding to the tension, the two people who had previously confronted the code breakers at the building's entrance now arrive on the scene. They argue that their actions are meant to help people, insisting that children with limited special powers are practically useless, that using their organs for other purposes is the most efficient way to utilize their potential. This controversial statement sparks a conflict between the groups. To back up their position, Tabata's guards have recharged their energy packs. One of them can control water, while the other can turn things into solid stone. As the battle heats up, the room turns into a wild scene, with different skills in full-on display. Amidst the chaos, Toki decides to step away from his opponent, hoping to avoid the fight. But he runs into the enemies again at the front and firmly states that they won't get away. Sakura quietly tells Toki the important detail that the source of the enemy's power is in a bag one of the men is carrying. She suggests that if they can take or destroy this bag, they might gain an advantage in the battle. Following Sakura's advice, Toki grabs the bag and is shocked to find that it holds young children who are the source of the enemy's power. In a shocking turn of events, they face a tough moral choice and need to act quickly. Following the children's wishes, they decide to eliminate the two enemies. With the two guards out of the way, only Mr. Tabata is left. As he tries to escape in desperation, Toki catches him and insists that Ogami should finish the job. Ogami, ready to use his fiery powers, is just about to turn Mr. Tabata into barbecue. But right at that crucial moment, Mr. Tabata's daughter, who is in a wheelchair, unexpectedly arrives. She asks her father, who is held against the wall, about the identities of Sakura, Toki, and Ogami, the intruders according to her. In his moment of desperation, Mr. Tabata reveals that all his actions were meant to find the right organ for his daughter. He explains that the hospital couldn't provide the needed transplant quickly enough for his daughter, so he acted urgently to save her life. As Sakura begs Ogami to spare Mr. Tabata, the man starts to understand how serious his actions were. Feeling sorry for what he did, he asks Sakura to look after his daughter while he accepts his fiery end, letting Ogami burn him. At the same time, Mr. Tsuno, Tabata's secretary, thinks he has barely avoided death and is making his way a few blocks from the building. However, Toki quickly catches up with him, determined to find out who was backing Tabata's evil project. Facing the pressure to reveal this crucial information, Mr. Tsuno takes a tragic action. He raises a gun to his own head and pulls the trigger, ending his life before he can give away any secrets.